I'm here with Jim Gates of Gates Properties of TC Inc. We're here to discuss buying and renovating foreclosed properties. Jim, just how did you get into this profitable business?
Well, if you remember, Marty, my real estate license was running out, and I didn't feel like I wanted to continue in the real estate business, and I came into your office and I said, well, take my license down off the wall, that's it. And you were the one who suggested that I maybe look into buying some of these foreclosed properties and renovating them and either selling them or renting them. And I thought about it for a while, and I decided I'd jump into it.
Beautiful. And just how much money do you need to get started? What kind of capitalization are we talking about with these foreclosed houses?
Well, do you want to step inside this one?
Sure, let's take a look inside.
And then I'll answer.
Now, just how much capital do you need to get started in one of these projects, Jim?
Well, I started with probably a minimal amount. I had about $150,000 that wasn't doing anything. And at your suggestion, I went out and I looked and I found a couple properties and I bought them and fixed them up and sold them right away. And that's about all that I started with.
And from there, the ball was rolling.
Yeah, and of course, you understand, I mean, it's just me and my handyman. So in other words, I look at doing maybe one property a month and then flipping it, and I've been very lucky at that.
Good, good, that's fantastic. And what do you look for in these particular foreclosed houses? What kind of condition are they in when we're looking at them to buy them?
The condition will vary lots of times, but usually they're in pretty bad condition. You want to remember they have set for a while. But anyway, my criteria usually for buying a house is that I try to get at least a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Not always. I've had a couple 2-bedroom, 2-bath houses that have been very, very nice. And I usually look at about a 1,300 square foot house or better. You know, I don't buy anything that's real small.
Right. Because we're always thinking about the resale.
Always thinking about the resale. And of course, you consider also a little bit of location.
Correct.
However, most of the houses are in good locations.
Right, and here in Port St. Lucie, the whole city is more or less the same.
Correct.
Great. What about the prices of these bank-owned properties? How are they priced?
Well, they're priced anywhere from $30,000 on up.
Right.
And of course, when you're looking at a house for $30,000 to $40,000, you want to remember you're going to have to put everything into it.
Right.
As you know, some properties I have bought have been completely stripped, so I have to put everything into them. The houses that you find between 40 and 50 will still take quite a bit of work. But if you're spending $50,000 to $60,000, lots of times you can get by with maybe only putting about 10 grand into a house.
See that? That's pretty good.
But as you know, I have put some of my houses I've put as much as $22,000, $23,000 in. Right. But those were the houses that I picked up around $35,000, $45,000.
And the money comes back at the other end. When you do the granite countertops, when you do the premier upgrades, it helps with the resale. And like I said, we always think about the resale end. Okay, and now what are we talking about? We're talking about materials, we're talking about man hours, we're talking about dollars. Well, just what is it that you do? How do you begin the process of restoring these properties?
Well, when I go out and I look at a property, I go through it and I have a pad and I write down everything that needs to be done. And of course at that time, I estimate what my cost is going to be. And then of course after that, then I put an offer in. And I have to get it at the price that I put the offer in so that because I know what I've got going into it. But most of the time, these properties, you will find that all of them always need painting inside and out.
Right.
That's a must. Every one that I have bought, I've had to put in new kitchens usually. Flooring, sometimes I find tile that I'm able to work with, but usually I wind up putting in some sort of flooring, even if it's maybe carpeting, a little bit of wood flooring or tile. Appliances you have to put in, bathrooms you have to update.
Oh, yes.
All that has to be done to make it saleable. So that's what goes into it. And as far as man hours, I work with just my own handyman, as you know, and I mean, most of my houses, just the two of us, it takes anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks before we're able to put it on the market.
Good, good. And once we get them on the market, what kind of response are we getting as we get them?
Well, I've had very, very good response, as you know.
Right.
But I mean, my properties have sold anywhere from 2 days to no more than a month.
Correct.
I'm usually able to flip them in a month. You know?
And that's the key, isn't it? Tell me about this house that we're in here today. Exactly how we started and where we went from A to Z. Tell me everything that went into purchasing and renovating this house.
Well, first of all, let me tell you, this house was not a foreclosure.
Was not a foreclosure.
No, it was not a foreclosure. This was an out-of-country owner, and they just wanted to sell the property.
Okay.
The property, I assume, had been rented out, and I came and looked at it. It was in very, very good shape. I mean, it was possible, just to re-rent it if they had wanted to, but they wanted to sell it. So I bought this house, and I paid $60,000 for this house, which is the high end for me.
Right.
But when I looked at it, I knew I was only going to have to put $7,000 or $8,000 into it, which is really all that I put into it. Now, what I did here, I, of course, painted inside and out. Like I said, that is a necessary thing on any house.
Always.
And of course, I had to put in a new kitchen.
Beautiful.
However, I was able to save some of the appliances. So I really only had to buy a microwave. The stove, the dishwasher, and the refrigerator was fine. I removed the carpeting in the living and dining area, and we put down wood. In the bathrooms, I merely put in new vanities, new lighting, and cleaned them up. So basically, that was all that I had to spend on this property. So I had about 3 weeks of labor and between $4,000 and $5,000 in materials.
So this was a good one.
Yeah. So in other words, I have about $68,000 in this property. I have put it on the market at 89.
89.
Easily, we're going to get between 85 and the 89. Most likely,
Right
finish
now.
up here. Let's run over to Walton Court. That's one of the properties that I just bought. Now, I bought that really, really cheap, and I haven't put a whole lot into it, but it's turned out to be a real nice house.
Beautiful.
So let's finish up here and run over to Walton Court and take a look at that.
Sure, sure. Well, you did a fine job here. This is really a beautiful place, and I'm sure we'll have it sold in no time at all. Now, this is their latest project. We're in the Walton Court community here in Port St. Lucie. Tell me a little bit about what you had to do here.
Well, first of all, this is a smaller house than what I normally would buy. However, though, it's a great community. It is a gated community. I mean, it is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's an ideal snowbird property or a property for a retired couple. And of course, it being a gated community and an association, they would have nothing to do. I mean, everything's taken care of. So this property here, I did buy on foreclosure. I bought it for $42,000.
Wow.
It needed an all-new kitchen, and of course, other updates that I have done to it. However, though, I only wound up putting about $10,000 in this property, so I have $52,000 in this property. I have it on the market. We just put it on the market yesterday at 75. I'm sure I'll walk away with 71, 72,000. So after selling expenses and all, I'm looking to make at least 16, 18 grand for this property.
Beautiful.
So it is a very, very nice property, and I'm sure it's gonna sell fast.
Wow. So you've been very successful the last 3 years that we've been doing this together, buying and selling these homes. Tell me exactly where have you gone? Where did when we started this in January 3 years ago? Here we are coming on to 2012.
Well, as I said earlier, I started with $150,000 in my pocket.
Right.
I got my $150,000 back, and I don't mind telling you, I made a little over 400 grand in 3 years.
Wow. Wow.
I have been able to reinvest that money in mortgages. I have taken back about 5 mortgages on some of these properties at 6% because I would rather do that than rent. So it's been very rewarding, something that I enjoy doing.
It's going to be quite a profitable business. If you have $100,000, $200,000 that you want to invest, you're not making any money in the stock market, you're losing money in your money market, get involved in the foreclosure game with us. Call Milletta Realty, we'll get you started, we'll show you how. Call today, make money tomorrow.